Platzman, and I am the drummer for Imagine Dragons. I've been investing in my tigers, my tiger collection. No, man, it's been good. Life on the road has been pretty ongoing.
Yeah.
So I've seen many a basement, and we took like probably 10 months off and tried to go live some life and go make some mistakes and skin our knees, and came back with enough life experience to write an album. And we are at the very end of this run right now. I seem a bit weary, so it's been 4-5 weeks now, the North America run, and it's been fantastic. We have the most nerve-wracking show of all coming up, which is my hometown show of Atlanta, Georgia. And my parents are texting me many times a day about it already. It's stressful, but in a very good way. And I have a really cool new drum set. I decided I love my old kit. In fact, it's already now has many microphones around it and is set up for recording. But I decided for Evolve, this new record has a new aesthetic. A new, both sonically and visually. Mm-hmm. And so I decided I needed a new drum set to reflect that change and update the kit, so to speak. Yeah. And SJC is one of the few companies where I could approach them with album art and really crazy vague concept, like I want the drum set to be like Tron, or feel like it's inside of the grid, and I wanted the kit to glow in the dark and do all sorts of really crazy things. And the amazing team back at SJC took their time with it and came back with something phenomenal. And it sounds awesome, and when the UV lights hit it, it lights up all pretty. Well, the biggest, there's a couple things about my kit which were true before, which are still true, which are pretty strange, which is the key factor of my really weird kit, I would say, is that I have an 18-inch floor tom, a 20-inch kick, and then a 22-inch floor tom to my left. I've always been into the John Bonham triplets, and I wanted it to just kind of be like 3 bass drums. So that's the first weird thing about my kit. For this run, for Evolve, I decided that wasn't enough, so I added a second bass drum. We had a lot of songs with a lot of shuffles made it onto this record, a lot of 6/8, a lot of 12/8, and with all the hi-hat patterns and ride patterns going on over the shuffle kick, I just decided I was going to need a second bass drum. But the kit's already huge, and I A, didn't have room for another 20-inch kick, and B, didn't want to just get another 20-inch kick, so I got a smaller one. And it is very fun to play around with.
Thunder, 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 feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder, thunder, feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder, 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 thunder. Kids were laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are?
I got my start with Imagine Dragons because I went to Berklee College of Music, and I took a lab there with the amazing Mark White, and it was called the Eclectic Electrics. It's 5 electric guitars, bass, and drums. One of my roommates plays guitar. Cameron Peterson convinced me to be one of the guinea pig drummers so that the 5 guitar players could do the lab. And he convinced our other roommate, Ben, who's the bass player for Imagine Dragons. And one of the other Eclectic Electrics with Mr. Mark White was a guitar player named Wayne Sermon. So the 3 of us did this lab for like 3 years at school, and never thinking we were going to be in a band together or anything. And Wayne graduated, moved back home, met Dan, and they started the band called Ben, who immediately moved out to Vegas, dropping out of Berkeley 6 credits shy. They had a drummer, so I stayed in school, graduated, and then was following up with the band and patiently waited in the wings, much like a ferocious tiger for my chance to pounce. I do. I mean, I love playing arenas every night, but it's variety's key. There are things about playing an intimate small venue that are amazing that you don't get with an arena. Specifically for us drummers, when you hit with this intimate venues, the stage is only so big, so you're actually closer to the front row. You can smell the sweat. You can almost reach your hand out and touch people. And when you get the arenas, you start to get a barricade, and then the stage is really big, so the drum set gets moved back, and you can feel kind of like there's a little bit of distance between you and the audience sometimes. But that's kind of the challenge of the arena show, is finding ways to make it feel intimate and to reach that connection with the crowd, and basically find every excuse I can to jump up from my drum set and run out to the crowd and give someone a drumstick.
Yeah, definitely.
For Evolve, we knew we had a new aesthetic, and so we wanted to come up with a stage design that would kind of reflect color. We felt like Smoke and Mirrors was very dark album, kind of void of light. That was kind of the whole point. It was this magical realism. We love Smoke and Mirrors, we're extremely proud of it, but Evolve is a very different sounding record and has very different artwork. And so we knew we had to create a live show that was going to reflect that change. So, we teamed up with some very talented, very creative people, and who took all of the crazy words we threw at them, like colorful and bright and fun and a point of arrival, and all of our wonderful album artwork. We wanted to incorporate that, and we found a way to kind of bring that artwork to life in a live setting and also reflect all those bright colors. And there's also no spoilers, but there's a pretty cool screen wall done in a pretty cool way.
Miserable, always hanging on to the visual. I wanna be invisible, looking at my years like I'm martyrdom. Everybody needs to be a part of them. Never be enough from the prodigal son. I was born to run, I was born for this.
My musical approach for writing drum parts is always, it's serving the music. It's always about trying to recognize what the music is trying to communicate, and as a drummer, I feel like it's our job to facilitate that message as best we can. So that's not always playing the most notes. Sometimes that's specifically not playing notes. It's always, as drummers, we have the least guidance in the job, kind of the most freedom, where it's kind of like, well, just come up with a beat and make it work. And making it work is exactly what I would say our job is. It's our job to make it work. So, just listening. I'd say I try to listen to the music as thoughtfully as I can and with as much foresight as I can, and think of what I can do to complement what's going on as best I can and make that as dynamic a thing as possible. I think Evolve, more than our other records, is very dynamic and very clean aesthetically, and we just found a way to communicate what we were trying to say with less than we previously had, because we realized that when you do less, you can create more dynamics. And I have been on a crazy hard bop kick lately. I have been listening to a lot of Freddie Hubbard, and let's see, I've been listening to Of Montreal. I love Of Montreal. Their music is always very innovative and creative, and their drums are they change over the record. Sometimes it's more electronic sounding, sometimes it's more analog. What else have I been listening to? I've been listening to a lot of Hank Sr., which is not like drummer music, but he's such an amazing songwriter. So Moanin' the Blues. Woo. It's a good one.
All the words inside my head, I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been.